Hello everyone. In this video, I would like to give a speech about change the bad habit and explain the degree of comparison. First of all, let me introducing myself. My name is Dian Aulia Pratiwi. My student number is 632503737 and I'm from UBSI Slipi. So, in this part 1, I would like to give a speech about change the bad habit. The bad habits. We all have them and they often seem harmless at first, but over time, they can hold us back from becoming the best version of ourselves. One of the bad habits I personally struggled with is procrastination. Let me share my experience. There were times when I had assignment or project to finish, but instead of starting early, I kept telling myself I still have time. I would spend hours scrolling on my phone, watching videos, or simply convincing myself that I could do it later. But later often became too late. Suddenly, the deadline was right in front of me, and I had to rush everything. And the result? Sleepless nights and work that wasn't as good as could it be. That experience made me realize something important. Procrastination doesn't just waste time, it also wastes opportunities. It makes us feel safe in the moment, but in reality, it pushes us into panic later. And I knew I couldn't continue like this forever. Of course, changing a bad habit is not something that happens overnight. It takes awareness, patience, and consistency. I started by simply noticing when I was about to delay something. Then I reminded myself if I start now, I will thank myself later. Slowly, I began to work earlier, even if just for a few minutes. Over time, those small changes built a new routine. The truth is, we don't have to be perfect. We just need to keep moving forward. Bad habits may not disappear instantly, but they can be replaced with better ones if we stay consistent. And every small step counts. So, in this part 2, I would like to explain degrees of comparison. What is degrees of comparison? Degrees of comparison are essentially the way we compare one thing to another. For example, when we want to say that one thing is bigger, the biggest, smaller, the smallest, better, just as good, or worse than another, we use these degrees of comparison. This allows us to show the comparison between two things more clearly. There are two types of comparison. The first one is positive degree. The second is comparative degree, and the last one is superlative degree. The first one is positive degree. The positive degree is the basic form of an adjective that describes the quality or state of an object without comparing it to another object. We can call this the comparative of equality. The positive degree is the simplest and most common form of the adjective. When we say he is tall, we are stating that the person is indeed tall without comparing his height to that another. However, when we want to show that two things have the same quality, we use subject plus to be plus s plus adjective plus s plus object. For example, He is as tall his brother. As tall as indicates that he and his brother are the same height. This book is as interesting as that one. This statement indicates that both books are equally interesting. My house is as big as yours. This shows that the two houses are the same size. This restaurant is as expensive as that hotel. This shows that prices at restaurants and hotels are just as high. Second, comparative degree. The comparative degree is a form of comparison between two objects, indicating that one object has more or fewer of a certain quality or characteristic than the other. So basically, we want to say whether something is more or less than something else. There are two differences in the comparative degree. We use more in the comparative degree when the adjective has two or more syllables or when the adjective ends in "ly." Subject plus to be plus more plus adjective plus than plus object. We use the er form of an adjective in the comparative degree when the adjective is short, usually consisting of one or two syllables, and the structure is subject plus to be plus adjective plus er plus than plus object. For example, she is more creative than her sister. He is more confident than his classmates. That restaurant is more popular than the one across the street. This dress is cheaper than the one in the other store. He is stronger than his opponent. She is shorter than her sister. The last one is superlative degree. The superlative degree is a form of an adjective used to indicate that something possesses the most extreme quality compared to a group of other objects. It's the highest degree of comparison and typically uses the most or an adjective ending in "est" to indicate the superlative degree in English. There are two differences in the superlative degree. We use most in the superlative degree when the adjective has three or more syllables, or when the adjective ends in "ly." The structure is subject plus to be plus the most plus adjective or adverb. As is used in the superlative form when the adjective has one or two syllables. So if the adjective is short, we add "s" to the end of the adjective. The structure is subject plus to be plus the plus adjective plus adverb plus s. For example, she is the most talented singer in the competition. This is the most crowded street in the city. This problem is the most difficult to solve. Mount Everest is the highest mountain in the world. She is the shortest person in her family. He is the fastest runner on the team. There is rules of comparative and superlative. If an adjective has one syllable and ends with a consonant following a vowel. For comparative, big turns into bigger, fat, fatter, hot, hotter, thinner. For superlative, big turns into biggest, fattest, hottest, thinnest. If an adjective has two syllables and ends in y. For comparative, heavy turns into heavier, busy, busier, happy, happier, easy, easier. For superlative, heavy turns into heaviest, busy, busiest, happy, happiest, easy, easiest. If an adjective has one syllable and ends in e, wide turns into wider, safe, safer, close, closer, large, larger. For superlative, wide turns into widest, safe, safest, close, closest, large turns into largest. So there is irregular forms. There are also some special rules or exceptions when it comes to degrees of comparison. Specifically, there are words to which you cannot add er or ist, nor can you add more or most. The first is good. For positive degree, good. Comparative degree, better. For superlative degree is best. Bad, bad, worst, worst. Far, far, farther or further. Farthest or furthest. Little, little, less and least. Many, many, more, most. Old, old, older or elder. Oldest or eldest. Late, late, later, latest or last. So, they are exercises. First, this box is blank, big than that one. The answer is this box is bigger than that one. Second, today feels blank hot than yesterday. The answer is today feels hotter than yesterday. The third is she is the blank happy student in the class. The answer is she is the happiest student in the class. The fourth, my bag is blank heavy than yours. The answer is my bag is heavier than yours. And the last one is that street is the blank safe in our neighborhood. The answer is that street is the safest in our neighborhood. And that brings us to the end of our lesson on degree of comparison. We've seen how adjectives can change from positive to comparative and finally to superlative. Thank you for watching this video. Keep learning, keep practicing, and remember, small progress every day leads to big improvement. See you in the next video.